I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hey guys, a little bit of an intro. The audio is going to be a little bit accurate. I do mention that as an issue, but another issue that popped up is because of Matthew's connection, it's going to be a little bit laggy. And by that I mean that you're going to hear him cut in, and there will be like a minute or so, like a couple seconds of awkward silence. So this is a little bit scuffed. I apologize in advance. We really did try. Um, so I mean. There's only so much that I can do from our end. Hopefully you guys still enjoy the episode. I know it's gonna be again, I know it's gonna be a little bit scuffed, but we really did try. It was also 2 in the morning. We had run like four different test runs and we had come across the same issues like over and over, even though we would fix it the previous time, what worked the previous time just wouldn't work the next time. I mean, we tried our best. We really did try. I have the video evidence of there being like five different test runs. So do with that what you will. So yeah, I apologize in advance. Hopefully this is up to par with our episode. I just think it's our taking across the technical difficulties, and it sounds like we're all coming through a thing of potatoes. I think this is our best episode yet. But do what you will with that. So yeah, on to the episode.
Two, one. All right, guys. Welcome back to In the Zone. I am joined by my co-host, Matthew Rodriguez. Matthew, say
What's
what's
up?
up. And I would like to apologize just in case the audio for this is a little bit messed up. We are doing the best we can. We have done what, three test
Yeah,
runs
yeah,
at
pretty
this
much
point?
3 test runs.
So if this gets messed up or it's echoey or something like that, just know like there's like a whole setup that we have. I am having to look at my phone, so if you see me looking at like a little bit off camera, that's why. Matthew has really crappy connection wherever he is. Where are you right
I'm
now?
in Camp Pendleton, California right now.
So a lot has changed. As you guys can probably tell by that statement, our boy Matthew has decided to serve for his country. So Matthew, first question, buddy. What was your welcome to boot camp moment? What was the moment you're like, all right, I'm here. I'm in the military right now.
My welcome to boot camp moment. Shoot, there's a lot of them to be quite honest. I guess the experience that kind of hit me in the head, noticing that like this is not like a summer camp or anything like that. This is like some straight up like real deal shit. Is there was one time, whenever we arrive over to California because that's where my recruit training was. I trained over in San Diego, California, Marine Corps Recruit Depot, and I was welcomed by some instructors immediately over in the airport, and then we were driven all the way over to the actual depot. After that, we were processed through and everything. We went through like a sort of like initiation for about 3 days, where pretty much we didn't get any sleep, anything like that. We were taking in a lot of shots, very minimal bathroom breaks, and then the whole moment of truth, which is like them trying to corner us and tell us like, have you did any drugs? Have you smoked any weed? Have you done any cocaine? All that bullshit. Da 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 da. Da. Have you committed a crime?
Well, I
And
mean, the
then
obvious question I have is, have you? Did you have to say yes to any of those?
no, fuck no, no. And if I was certainly um, telling them how what I've experienced, not the exact per case scenario, but yeah. So once we got through that whole initiation process, we call it like like starting the starting week, initiation week, and we meet our actual drill instructors who are with us for the entire like 12 weeks. Um, After that was like pretty much my welcome to boot camp moment, where pretty much like I met my drill instructors, and they were kind of like going through the motions on like showing us how things are and how things will be for the next 12 weeks, and they were not very welcoming. My first night, I was choked out with a laundry bag. Yeah, I was choked out with
What?
a laundry bag. Yeah, where because I wasn't screaming loud enough. My instructor came to me and literally wrapped a laundry bag and started choking me out with it. And he was like, if one of you motherfuckers don't sound off at all, this is the kind of shit I'm gonna treat y'all like. And I was just like, like I could have gone to college, man. I could have like gone to any other route to where like I didn't have to be going through this where I have another grown man choking me out in front of 70 other men because, I wanted to have free college. And there were
Okay.
many other cases and scenarios. Um, like, sorry, what were you going to say?
No. Go on.
No, there were many other cases and scenarios like me like standing on duty and like I couldn't use the bathroom, so I literally just soiled myself, like shit like that. And where like straight up, that's just how the field is, where I have to
That
stay
is really
on
what you had to
post.
do? Are you serious?
Yes, where I went to like like 23K like hikes, and I was chafing insanely, and my drill instructor thought it was like a really smart idea. Like, hey, like Rodriguez, like if you're dealing with like some chafing issues, like I got an idea for you. Just like grab like one of those like baby wipes or like dude wipes and pour immense amount of aftershave on it and just wipe it on yourself. I'll clean it up. And like I did exactly what he said, but it like hurt so bad. And I knew exactly why he did that, just so he could see me more agonized and in pain.
Yeah, you gotta walk
And
around like Peter. Do you remember the whenever he gets told a joke by Quagmire that just instantly makes him shit his pants? Like you had to just walk around like fucking like that.
yeah, that was
Right?
pretty much me. Like I felt like I had a vagina because my like I was chafing so bad and I was bleeding between my legs so intensely. And I was thinking like, I traded a very, very comforting life for this, and somehow like the Marine Corps has still gotten its hands on me to this point. I've been in for about 5 years, so I mean like it's gotten something out of it.
So let me ask you the okay. Well, one obviously that is going to be on your plaque. Is going to be. I feel like I have a vagina, Matthew. I feel like I have a vagina, Rodriguez. That is going on the plaque. The second
Yeah.
thing is well, talk to us about, what was your decision making? Because that is such a big thing. And it was an avenue that I looked at. It wasn't something that I considered because for me personally, at least, I didn't feel comfortable with the concept of potentially dying for people that, quite frankly, because of something as simple as the color of my skin, are going to look down at me and not treat me as an equal human being. And so it was one of those things where it's like, I don't feel comfortable with it. So, how did you become comfortable with the idea of going into actually serving your country? Which, thank you for your service, by the way.
Of course, Nick, I'm here for you. Um, honestly, like it's like a surreal thing that I've honestly never really thought about. Like it honestly, it was a very like a selfish thought of myself because all I really wanted to do in the process of this was to get free college and free education out of this, obviously, and like seek the benefits that would reward me rather than for my country. So anytime somebody would say like something like, you're doing a selfless act, all I ever saw was like the benefits towards me. However, a lot of that has changed over time because I mean, I've noticed a lot of the duties that I've done come with like camaraderie and like the people I spend time with and like the guys I train with. Like I have like, 18, 19-year-olds right under me that I'm training under my wing so we can prepare for the next coming a conflict or event, whatever that comes through. And it honestly like is like that like the whole cheesy ass fucking line like, oh, we don't do it because we want to fucking get some kind of award out of this or a ribbon, but you do it for the guys like to the left and right of you, which is a true fact. Like I honestly feel like I'm more encouraged to do something because I have guys next to me that are willing to do like pretty much anything for me, and I'm same vice versa with them. So honestly, like I don't mind dying, which is like kind of like a weird thing to say, but I really don't mind because I know like in the long run, like I feel like I have more of a purpose here in what I'm doing than anything else I would have done in any other area. Not saying like, what somebody's doing right now in a different, direction or path is not doesn't have any purpose, but it's what felt like what was my calling. And I didn't realize that at first, but now I do. That's why, like, I think I have some kind of like abusive kink because like I'm noticing like, yeah, I know it sounds weird, but like I'm noticing the thing
Bro,
that eats the shit. Sorry, what were you say?
we are literally not even 10 minutes into this podcast, not even 5 minutes in, and you've already given us like two all-time bars right back.
Dude,
All
I'm
right,
telling
all
you.
right.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. So also, guys, this is kind of the issue with doing this over phone. Unfortunately, me and Matthew are not on the same. Like, we're not in person. It's not as easy to do this. But
Yeah.
he's off serving his country, and I'm off. I don't know. I don't want to say like beating my meat, basically, but that's basically what I'm doing over
Shutting
here.
out. You're shutting out. It's okay.
Comparative, comparatively speaking, that's what I'm doing. But yeah. So I mean, sorry. Go back to your story about how you have an abusive kink and you just love to be just absolutely railed by other men.
No, no, dude. It's literally just because like somehow, some way, like even though this thing has been beating the shit out of me for about 5 years, for somehow like I love this organization more than I have when I first entered. And I don't know if that's just because I have, some fucking sociopathic tendencies where I don't know how to fucking endure certain abusive uh treatments, but like I've noticed that like I feel like I owe more to this fucking institution rather than me just coming in because all I've gotten is the best experiences of my life. And I don't know, it's nice. It's weird because some days I feel like fuck this place, but at the same time I love it so much, and it's so weird how to think about it. All I could say is like, if you're in, you understand. If you're out, I may look like a fucking a crazy asshole, but that's just the slice of the pie.
All right, so my question becomes: what you talk about that eventually over the course, this became sort of like a mission and a family and a goal that you loved. Was there a specific point or a specific moment that you can look at and say, "Hey, like this was the point where I'm like, this is really something bigger than me, right? And I want to be a part of this," as opposed to your when you
Uh-huh.
first got in, where you're like, "Oh, let me get the free college. I'll take the humiliation."
Yeah, dude. It is like actually, I'm glad you asked that. That's such a great question because that is exactly how I felt when I was coming up to my last year, where I'm like, I'm getting talks about, my deployment. I'm getting talks about where I'm going and what possibly might be the next place I might be landing at. And I realize more and more when I spend time over here with my new guys, my comrades, and my other Marines is that like I figure out like this is way bigger than me. This is something that like that I'm putting effort towards that like feels like it could, not to fucking talk any kind of shit, but like could change the course of how our country works. And I like being a part of that because it's no longer my story to tell. It's something that only history could ever say, and I kind of like being part of that, even though there may be some disagreements of what motives we have towards certain things. I feel like no matter what, I am proud to be what I am, and I guess that was something that like I always had trouble finding when I was younger. But with this, I feel like this is my calling, this is my name, this is my my motto, and like I don't know. It's until the day I fucking die, I will always call myself a United States Marine.
And so I have to ask the question, what made you choose the Marines specifically? Because, like, okay, right, from an outsider perspective, I hear a lot of stories about how homosexual the Navy is and how, like, fruity the Air Force is and how, like, zesty the Army and the Marines are. So, like, how did you make a decision about which branch that you were going to go to? Like, did anything that you heard from outside voices affect what your decision making was? Was it something that you had a recruiter that stuck out more for this branch, or Was it just something that you were just like, fuck it, flip a coin, and it's the Marines. All right, cool, fuck it. I guess I'm a U.S. Marine.
Um, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I didn't know jack shit about anything, and I came in like pretty much free willy about it. So how it initially started was I had an ex girlfriend who saw my phone was buzzing like crazy, and it was the fucking army recruit, and I was like, man, fuck that shit. I ain't doing that. And she was like, why not give him a chance? You know, like you talked about free education in some way, and you've been looking for scholarships, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll give it a shot. And I went over to the Army office, ended up walking into the Marine recruiting office, and he's like, do you know what fucking place this is? Does this look like an Army, recruiting office to you? I'm like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck this is. Like, I don't even know how the military works. And he was like, okay, all right, whatever, dumbass. Like, if you're fucking done talking with the army, just come over here, see if you're worthy of becoming a United States Marine. I was like, I blew him off. I was like, what a fucking asshole. That guy ended up being my fucking recruiter. And
Seriously? I mean, that's
yeah,
just a pretty good pitch. I mean, you just like demean the guy and like this like reverse psychology was like, you're not worthy, bro. Yeah, and
yeah, pretty
it
much, yeah.
worked. It fucking worked.
Yeah, no, like that reverse psychology system worked like crazy because I remember whenever I first tried, I tested out for them. I was good, everything worked out. I ended up hitting up something through like my medical hit list, and they were like, "No, we can't do that." I took like some kind of medicine that didn't align with how the military was going, and they were just like, "Yeah, that's not gonna work." And somehow, some way, that guy who blew me off or was demean to me, sorry, ended up fighting for me the most. And you know, murder she wrote. I'm here. I am 5 years later. You know.
Getting ready for am I allowed to say that? I mean, I know we talked about you can't say where you are being deployed, but our boy Matthew, unfortunately, we might only be able to get another one podcast in with him. Hopefully, it's going to be episode 15, but he is going to be deployed as well in service of our country again. Does that ever scare you whenever you get deployed, or is it just something that's just part of the nature right now?
Yeah, man, it's the nature of the beast. I mean, like, deployment is such a fun factor for me because I get to experience something that I probably will never ever get to experience. Like, everyone can go fucking like go to school, have fun, fucking, go out drinking with their buddies or whatever the fuck. But like, this is like a once in a lifetime chance I have with these guys. I'm not saying like, whatever effort that other people have is minimal, but like, I will never ever be able to deploy with these guys or with this unit ever again, specifically this unit. And I know this isn't like something I can really ever do over and over and over. I only have a limited time on this earth, and that's just the way how I see it. And it is a blessing to fucking be a part of it. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think deployment is fun. Anytime somebody tells me like, "Isn't it scary?" or "Isn't it fucking frightening that you might, not come back?" I don't give a fuck, man. Like, it's whatever comes in. If I come in a casket, I don't give a shit. It's fucking fun. Like, I know like whatever I'm putting in will come out, and I usually think the harder things that I do in life are gonna benefit me more longer in the road or whatever it says.
And so I have to ask the question, and already talked to you, so I know about the answer to this question. But for the people who are unaware of this, there is a going around meme that the military gets given steak and lobster right before they deploy. Matthew Rodriguez, can you confirm or deny those rumors?
Brother, these last two deployment trainings I've been on, I've had steak and lobster about four fucking times, and each one has been on a Friday where I'm like, something's fucking going on here. Like, you guys are not telling us the whole truth. And I'm looking at my buddies, I'm like, I'm not gonna enjoy this meal because I know what's gonna come out of it. And it's so funny because literally they serve us straight up ass cheeks of food for like 2 straight weeks. And then that 15th day, they're like, you guys have done a pretty good job. Here's some steak and lobsters. Have a good day. Go enjoy yourselves. Don't spend it all at once, devil. And hey, it's whatever it is. I try to enjoy those steak and lobsters because Lord knows I can't get off that boat. So
Okay, so you talk about being with your buddies a lot and how it's a camaraderie. I mean, we touched about it a little bit, but come on, Matthew, you got to have some really funny stories about shit that happens while you've been there, bro. Come on, lay some of the law down, man. Let's hear some of these stories.
dude, the thing is, like, the stories I have are usually borderline, like, just straight up inhumane, and I don't want to um, I guess, criminalize anybody right now, but I do have a few stories that I could paraphrase. Um, Let me think. There was a few chances where a couple buddies of mine, whenever we were in Pensacola, Florida, we were stationed there with different other branches, such as the Air Force and the Navy. And for some odd reason, how the Marine Corps thinks compared to all the other branches is nothing's ever stolen. It's tactically acquired. And
Oh boy.
in those chances,
Oh boy.
anytime we see something for our keepings, we take it. We don't ask any
Tactically
questions.
acquire it.
We tactically acquire
Yeah,
it.
tactically acquire it.
And there's been chances where we see the branches flag, and we look both ways across the road, and then we just snatch it. So in Pensacola, Florida, we thought it was a very fantastic idea if we stole all the toilet paper in the Navy's barracks. So we came up with a mission where we were wearing all black, left at the middle of night, like probably like 11:30 um Eastern time, and we snuck over to the other barracks, and we were like we taped up the duty that was there because there's always a standby duty right there that is like on the watch. We taped them up. We taped them up and captured him and made sure that he didn't alarm anybody, and went into their janitor's closet and stole all their toilet paper. Oh, this was not me or any of my friends. This was a story that I've heard, but just saying. After
Threw out a few
that,
royal we's, man. Threw out a few too
what
many
was that?
royal we's. You threw out a few too many royal we's there, my dude.
What's crazy is that the instructors heard about this, and you think they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" They were so proud. They were like, "That's the kind of shit I'm talking about." Oh man. Oh my gosh. And that's what makes us different. And the crazy thing is, that's like so insane, is like the Air Force. I dated this one Air Force chick, and I remember her telling us that like she gets hazard pay because she has United States Marines on her base. Oh, okay. Yeah, which is kind of insane. But yeah, that's just how it is, man.
So how did you? Okay, I did not know that you dated someone while you were in there. How does that working across? Is it departments? What's the proper word? Branches? Yeah, branches. How does
Man,
that? Is that like allowed? Is that like something that's like you got to be monitored? Is it like a job where it's like, oh, you're dating a coworker? We got to have HR involved or something like that.
nah. I mean, sort of in a way, but not really. This is the kind of scenario I've been in. I've dated someone in my shop. I've dated someone outside of my branch, and so on and so on. So the way how it works, how I think about it is like if you work at Pizza Hut and you're dating someone at Papa John's, that's kind of how it is when you're dating somebody like in a different branch. You both
That is
work
an
pizza.
immaculate comparison. That is an
Yeah,
immaculate comparison.
that's literally how it is. When it comes to like somebody in your own branch, it's kind of straight up just working for the same company. There's no HR or anything like that, but like they do try to separate you guys as much as they can, um, because they don't want any kind of conflict of interest when it comes to that. Like, just in comparison, if you're someone who's above her in terms of ranking, you could like obviously favor her because or him because of your relationship and personal endeavors. But like that's just how it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, shoot, man. You know how the military is with their dating, and especially like on how shoot, and how basically how it is dating military men. It's like pretty much having a whole second occupation.
Was it ever something that felt like a job at any point?
Like the more so like difference between it is like you have to get comfortable with long distance and just like short notice changes. And I also seen like super like big cases of people's relationship having to drastically change because of permanent change of duty station or like something about like somebody's lifestyle that's like just coming up to a pause. My deployment, I'm deploying for a year. I'm not in a relationship right now, but I know a lot of people that like are dealing with problems of like having to have their wives basically take care of or husbands take care of the children while they're gone. So there's a lot of different cases between that. So it can definitely be difficult. Yeah, dating someone in the military. Not saying it's a bad experience though.
Takes like a good fat swig just to emphasize the point.
Hmm. Yeah. But yeah. Um. What else? But that's pretty much it. Yeah, so far.
I mean, how many, you gotta have some good stories, bro. Like you gotta, that's an all timer. You get, he's taking off. So wait, did they take anything back? Like, did they just not have toilet paper for the rest of the week? Like, what the hell happened there?
I. What do you mean?
Like, whenever you started stole all their toilet paper, did you just give it back?
Fuck no. You think I'd give this shit back? Hell, or you think those Marines who committed that would give that shit back? No. Um Absolutely not. Unless those people that stole that toilet paper, um the people that they stole it from wanted it back, they would have to fucking, steal it back, or tactically acquire it back. But, that's just how things are.
Is there any other good stories that you could share for us before we go on break?
Um, in terms of like military experiences and shenanigans,
Mhm.
um, honestly, there's so many to think of. I can't just straight up incite one, but like one of the greatest experiences I ever had, that was pretty nice was shoot, I don't even know if I can really recall this so directly. I just know there was one time whenever this is so weird to think of. So in boot camp, whenever we shower, we do this thing called wagon wheel, and it's like pretty much like a speed shower. And we have like two recruits at the entrance of the rain rooms. We call showers rain rooms, and they would be like dousing us up with like freaking shampoo and whatever the hell they got. And we'd have our towels up to our hips, and we were pretty much butt ass naked in our other than sandals and fucking our towels. And we literally like as soon as like we run into the like the rain room, we throw the towel onto the side and just like come in like hot water and shower, and like I just felt so ridiculous thinking like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, like we don't even do this on like any kind of other personal level between anything. I've seen so many dicks than any other woman at a college night. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Like, this is like insane.
My
Guys,
question
like,
is why you sound like you're staring for a little bit too long there, Matthew. Are you getting it? Getting it toward another view?
brother, I am telling you, I'm not trying to catch any strays or catch any fucking, baseball bats, but like it is literally insane. Like just like coming in fast and hot and literally
Pause.
like, yeah, pause. But like I'm just trying to look around so I don't miss my step. And whoops, there's my buddy's dick right there. Like
There's Phil's dick. I knew my dick was bigger than his. I knew I had that extra inch on his ass. I knew it.
we what was so insane is that I had a buddy of mine named Castillo, and he would always play this fucking joke where he would get hard while we were showering. And he would always say, I'm the hardest one in the room. And we didn't think he
Buddy
was
just looked
literally
around.
about it.
Buddy just looked around now.
Dude, I promise you, this guy barely spoke English. Had a broken accent and everything. We couldn't tell if he was joking or not.
And he just like fucking reveals his house. He's just picked up beyond belief.
Dude, it's because we're all showering. It's like this big ass room, no dividers or anything like that. And we're just showering together. And it sounds so weird like that.
No,
But
it's
it's
just
just,
it's a locker room. It's just a locker room, bro.
yeah, it's just a
Like,
locker room. Yeah, and I don't know, you just get comfortable with that. I remember I was so freaked out in high school because I went to wrestling one time, and the guys were showering, and I remember like one dude was like completely naked in front of me, like yo, do you mind passing me my towel? And he was literally, it was like his whole shit was right in front of me. I was like freaked out, but then I went to boot
you
camp
just
and I was like,
know.
yeah, like I just got comfortable with that afterwards in boot camp. I don't know. Now, like, I don't treat it as any kind of issue.
Now I divulge into gay porn, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No. If I was in the Navy, maybe, but like, nah.
Is that okay? So I've heard a lot of rumors or and stories about people in the Navy where it's like you'll have people beating their meat off like right next to each other because you're all on a submarine. Is that confirmed true?
Not in the submarines, but like even, or maybe not, probably also in the submarines, but on the boat, we are about so, we're only so far away. In the boat, I have maybe like 3 to 4 feet of space of height and like maybe like width as well of and length of like 5 6 feet of straight up room space and everything. So there's only so much.
All right.
But yeah.
I feel like that is a good stopping point. Me and Matthew are gonna take a little quick break and get the recording set and get to go. We will see you guys on the other side in just a minute. And we are back with part two of our. How many segments are we going to be doing? Do we want to do all the questions that we have set for this? Because we have a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
we're gonna wipe them all out. All right, part two. Matthew breached on the topic a little bit. I think it's worthy of a discussion. Modern dating. I mean, it's something that is afflicting a lot of people, whether you are in or out of a relationship. So let's talk about that. Let's start with the baseline question, Matthew. Do you think, do you personally think that dating is easier or harder than 20 to 30 years ago, and why?
I think, in my personal opinion, I think dating has definitely taken a shift towards what it was 30 years ago, as most modern dating was. Or I guess different types of dating was I think back then, even prior to 20, 30 years ago, dating was literally like this guy is wealthy or this female's wealthy or this family is wealthy. You're going to be into that kind of relationship. And 20, 30 years ago, it seemed more like it was maybe a little bit more free ball on in terms of who you wanted to select as a partner. Here now, the choices are way more on standard of literally you have more access to select who you want as your partner, as you want as your partner, and and like that. So I feel like the decisions of making choices on who you're being selective for as a partner is more difficult because it's kind of like thinking of Spotify or Apple Music. You have this immense access to different types of music. As before then, you had to get a vinyl and figure out what kind of fucking music you like, and or just straight up a cassette tape. And back then, that's kind of how modern dating or dating was back then. Retro dating, I would assume, was you just literally had to pick your bag of the bunch and figure out what you liked most about it, and it made you focus more on specific minimal things that you wouldn't have think significant now, because you have this extreme line of access with the internet. Online dating is probably a really big thing, and just like having more access to different types of people of what your type is. So I think that makes it very different. Now, do I think it's harder now? I do think it's a little bit more difficult because you have a lot more choices, but that I think that's pretty much it. I also still think there's like a really big epidemic of men and women who devalue themselves as well in today's age compared to back then because the standards are just so fucking high.
I mean, I do 100% relate to that as well because it's like, I mean, I'm working two jobs, so I'm not, broke, but then they're not like stupidly well paid. But I'm able to do nice things. I'm able to enjoy myself a little bit, But I mean, I'm renting a house, right? I mean, that's a big step in modern society, and it's like I'm not an ugly guy.
Oh yeah. So
Okay, I'm back. Okay, anyway, so yeah, sorry, this is the problem with technology, but it's like I'm not an ugly guy and I'm not an awful person. So it's like having the issue of finding a partner in the modern era is still incredibly difficult because it's like I know I already looked this up. It's like considering my height and considering how much I earn and considering what I have as an assets and savings and stuff like that, like everything. I think I saw I'm in like the top 2% of like Americans, and yet even still, it just does not matter because it's like
Yeah.
because there's so much more of an option in the umbrella that you have to fall under. The standard just changes, and then the people that I look at it like a triangle, right? I have the triangle of like hot, single, and psycho, right? And it's like you're never gonna like completely have all of them in line, right? So if she's hot and single, she's psychotic. If she's single and psychotic, she's not hot, right? And if she's single and sane, or if she's hot and psychotic, she's not single. So it's like the second you have all of them where it's like lined up, where it's like she's sane, she's hot, and she's single, you got it. But it's like the fact of the matter is, there's always one of these things that's just like fucking it up because there's so much more access to like individuals with social media, right? You're able to interact with more people with dating apps. If people, get on those, there's like millions and billions of people on those at this point. It feels like so. It's
Yeah.
like you look at it and it's like there isn't an easy way to get your significant other to find true love like there was back then, where it's like it's a lot easier to have a one-on-one connection, like a true one-on-one connection that's isolated from everyone else. Whereas now you look at men and female DMs, and they'll have like a bajillion different messages, and you're fighting all against these different people. Whether you're a woman up against a man that has a bunch of homegirls, or a man up against a woman that has a bunch of homeboys, like there isn't an easy one to one.
Hmm. Yeah. I definitely get what you mean and where you're coming from. And like, I think it's just like, it's to the point where we idolize the features of people who don't really deserve it. And I think in a lot of cases, people don't really value what they have within themselves. And another thing, because I had a conversation about this a little bit earlier, is that like people are afraid to legitimately enjoy time alone. And I think that that makes it difficult for people to actually find a relationship that they want. I think, and it kind of opened my eyes with this, is that it is better to enjoy that time with yourself alone rather than to spend that time with someone that wasn't never meant to be with you the entire time. You know what I mean? Like like trying to find that partner, or having regretful thoughts because there was somebody that you wanted and you had to let them go away or whatever. um I feel like makes it very difficult for someone. And like if you just keep thinking about it in a way of like how you missed out on certain things, you're never going to be fulfilled in life. When in reality, I think it's better to give yourself that time to find the perfect person rather than rush things over. So I mean, like I think there's a balance between on how retro dating was and how modern dating is. There's some positives and negatives between the two. But I think ultimately it leaves up to the person's choice and who they're most compatible with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and do you think that the compatibility has changed over the course of time? Because it's like you'll see a lot of different relationships, right? You know, an ever loving, lasting relationship, you know, like our grandparents' relationship is different than our parents' relationship, and our parents' relationships are very different than ours. So it's like, do you think that what it means to be compatible with someone has changed?
Absolutely. I think like people back then used to get married just because that was just like a certain point at their life of adulthood. And nowadays people see it as like, no, I'm gonna pick a relationship or marry somebody because I am most compatible with them. And I think like that changes a lot of things nowadays with like how certain things are. Um, I just think in many scenarios, people try to find something that is more for them. Like, not saying it has to do anything with race, but I know for a fact, at least in most cases back in the day, that people would usually marry within their race or like their community. And nowadays it's so diverse where literally you can see many different types of people literally marrying outside of their own comfort zone. You know what I mean? Or not comfort zone, but just like out of their own area, I would say, or target.
What's the wildest one that you've seen? Because I have one in my head that I can think of like right fucking now was like the wildest couple I've ever seen. Like the one that was like I couldn't possibly guess that this would be a couple if I didn't actually see it myself.
Mm, like a wild ass couple, like um, kind of hard to like really imagine that because I feel like in many different ways, there's a lot of different couples that end up working. I guess I would say like I remember when Pete Davidson started dating Kim Kardashian, but I felt like that was just a public stunt.
I
Like,
mean, isn't his
yeah.
nickname like Big Dick Pete or something like that? I don't know if that's really that much of a publicity stunt.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. That was the thing where Pete had like Pete was going around as like this guy who got many different women because he had
Bro, he had Ariana Grande, bro. He had Ariana Grande, Kim Kardashian, and there's like one other one. It's like,
well,
bro,
prime Ariana Grande makes the big difference. Ariana Grande is kind of
now
going
it's
through
kind of scuffed. Yeah, she's going through some shit.
yeah,
But
which I hope she's
okay.
doing good.
I mean, dude, I feel like the Wicked movies are gonna have like a documentary about them in like 5 years because it's like some of the chemistry and like stories and things that I'm seeing and hearing about the set is like this thing is like borderline cursed, bro. Like if you like there's like 10-minute compilations of the actors having no chemistry whatsoever. It's like, well, wait, like what am I watching? But back to the original question that I posed, what's the latest one? There is a dude that I knew that was this super jacked 6'2" black guy, right?
Uh,
I'm talking like this is muscles on muscles, right? Like the muscles in places that I didn't even know were possible, right? He was with this like 5'7", 400-pound Indian lady, like Indian, and I'm like, all right, bro. So he's like, oh, here, Nick, this is my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, like I was like, I mean, to each their own. If you want to get hooked up with a scam caller, like more power to you, bro.
dude.
Bro, that's what she told us she did. She's like, oh, I do phone calls for a living. I'm like, so you just scam people? Like, what are we doing here, bro? Like, why are you subjecting yourself to this? So
Oh
like,
man, the jokes
like
write themselves.
if you just wanted to get tortured, just go down to like the haunted house thing that they have in Tennessee, where you have to like sign a waiver. Like, all right, bro, like do that, bro. Like they'll crush you for free over there, bro.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing? But all right, we're getting a little bit off topic. As funny as that is, it's still absolutely mind-boggling. That was a real couple. They're like, I think they're engaged now. I haven't talked to them in like a year, but like, I think they're engaged now. Which shout out to him.
Good for them.
But
Yeah.
do you believe that we talk about the discrepancies and issues finding value? Do you believe social media has an influence on that? And if so, what specifically?
I think it definitely. Do you mind if we take a quick pause, Nick? I gotta go use the bathroom.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, we are back. It is 3:16 in the morning on my end. We took a piss break at 2 o'clock in the morning on my end, so Matthew was gone for a piss for about an hour. That's not actually what happened. We were just fucking around, shooting the shit. Once he got back, to suddenly pulling the rug out from under us, saying that he needed to go take a piss. But where were we, Matthew? Oh yeah, that's right. Do you believe that dating apps have made modern dating easier or harder?
Ooh, good question. Have dating apps made it difficult or easier? Honestly, I think dating apps have made things like super monopolized, and I don't even know if that's like like a, I guess a word you can really phrase, but I feel like it's been monetized towards like an idea of like you want to have this many people attracted to you. Okay, throw like $60 into that. Throw like 70, 80, whatever, however the fucking much cost to in order for you to get a stupid amount of likes. And I feel like dating apps can be beneficial in terms of you having connection towards um, people on the outside, but at the same time, it causes so much negativity because you gain so much vast like varieties of different types of people you can go on a date with, and it essentially locks you in for many different choices rather than people you would actually like meet up in person for. So
Hmm.
I feel like it hurts dating in the way of like yes, it brings a lot of connection, but at the same time, it distances people between what is actually on the table for them to meet. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I.
and
Mhm.
let's talk about that. I mean, I feel like, yeah, well, I mean, we touched on this a little bit. You have more access to different people. Like you can filter, you know, I want to have someone that is older than me by X amount of years, and does or does not have kids, is this or this type of religion, yada yada yada. And so you can find your specific niche, but it becomes infinitely harder to maintain your standards and what is realistic. So, I guess that kind of leads into my next question: is do you think dating standards have become too unrealistic?
I think in a certain way, yes, because I feel like the standards for what people want nowadays is like so obscenely high. Like they need to have not a single red flag, need to be completely compatible with you. And it's a little weird because in relationships, like there needs to be some kind of friction in some sort of way. Not saying there's like negative friction in many relationships, but like friction in terms of like there needs to be a difference between how you work between a person. And and what I mean by that is like if someone was to be exactly like you'd get easily frustrated with that because there's certain qualities that you find within yourself that you don't agree with and you don't like. It's just people don't really notice that. And I feel like in many ways the standards of what people were to call a relationship for themselves is like infinitely times more higher than previously. I can go talk to a woman that I find attractive or whichever, and they could have significantly amount of different standards for me if I were to approach them with them on a dating app or on an Instagram DM or something like that. And I feel like when it comes to like approaching somebody in person, that kind of confrontation cannot be replicated. And I feel like in the online status aspect, the standards are high, but in person, in terms of one on one, that kind of standard isn't as high because that confrontation of them getting their first impression of me is lowering that bar for them.
So, do
And
you
I don't
feel
know if
like
there's like a science behind that.
I don't know if there is or not. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that I would know if there is a science behind that or not. But do you think that while the online dating scene has changed, do you think the in person has stayed the same more or less, or do you feel like that's also changed a little bit?
That has definitely changed a lot because I mean, like I've noticed between like on many different types of people is that like online dating has given an access towards people that they never had before, and it creates like this whirlpool of many different types of options. I remember like just like even coming back home, like in different occasions, like I would notice that like it just felt weird to connect with different types of people because I don't know, I guess they just always had the option of trying out online dating and they can just always go for someone that matches for them better. People usually just find the more attractive person between them. You know what I mean?
What do you think? Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not really actively out there like you are, but I mean,
That's close
yeah,
enough.
yeah. I wanted to see your reaction on that one. Um, but I don't know. I totally get it because I feel like th- it's so hard to be like, oh no, let's not go after this one because I have this option, right? And it's like it's just human nature, so you can't take it. I personally don't take it too deep because it's like, I mean, you're never going to be number one, right? Like, I mean, I know there was that joke the comedian guy made where it's like, Adam looks at Eve, it's like, Eve, we have God's love, eternal life, limitless supplies. We have everything we could possibly need. And the Eve just goes, well, it just isn't enough, right? Like, I know there's that joke, where it's like, it just isn't going to be enough. And that the unfortunate reality is, regardless of gender, that is true. Like, you're never going to be able to have everything that you want and everything that you need in a relationship. And I think that's part of what makes relationships and building that, fostering that growth is compromise, right? Like you're going to have to compromise. No one's going to
Yeah.
have everything that you want, right? You just got to be able to figure out what's truly important to you, right? Like if you grew up in a religious family, right? I'm assuming you would want someone that's religious, right? You wouldn't, that would be a deal breaker, right? Just like if you grew up with a family that, everyone went to college, that probably is going to be a deal breaker, right? Because there's going to be a family perception about this person, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like you got to figure out what is truly going to be important to you in the long run, right? And sometimes you will have to forego something that you previously thought was important in order to build this relationship with someone that you value, right? And I think that that's lost art for people to sit down and really like understand and realize when you're looking at these people. It's like this is just a stranger right now, right? You are getting the base level interpretation and understanding of them. So something that, is important to you in by default, when you actually talk to them, suddenly doesn't become important. And I think that that's a big thing that people need to understand when it comes to modern dating.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely get that, and like, I don't know, dating has like taken such a like fast turn since the early 2000s, where like I remember when we had a discussion about like I think like maybe we had a discussion about dating whenever we last did the podcast, and it was like it was just I don't know, it not that it seemed very different, but it's just like it seemed like we were growing more and more distant between the idea of actually going out and talking to somebody.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to. I gotta make sure. I was just eating some chicken nuggets off to the side. I gotta make sure I don't have like food on my face. But I think it's important to for everyone. I think this is something that should be a requirement. Take time to grow, right? Like
Right.
you talked about it earlier. The idea of being happy alone is something that's scary for a lot of people because a lot of people like. Okay, this is kind of like joking with it, but like the worst fear for some people might be dying a fucking virgin. Like I know that that's like a meme and a joke, but at the end of the day, that is a real fear that someone might have because they want to be committed to relationships or something like that. And I think that that is important to understand. Dying alone, it's an awful fate. It's something that I would wish upon. I would wish upon my worst enemy, right? And being able to foster a growth for yourself and allow that to not be a reality is so important in the modern era because I mean you have again we've talked about it, you have access to literally everyone and everything about someone, right? Like if I wanted to find someone's address online, I mean, all you got to do is just plug in their phone number, and apparently it's just going to come up with something, right? If I wanted to find out about their ex's relationship, right, all I got to do is plug in their Instagram to an AI generator that will discover, old posts that they deleted, right? I mean, like there's so many different avenues to discover secrets and stuff like that. So it's important to understand yourself and be comfortable with these things before they get confronted to you, right? Because if you have a crazy ex story and you're talking to a girl and she does all this research on you and you're not comfortable with your past and yourself, this is going to be a pretty quick end to this relationship because she's going to understand that you are not necessarily happy with yourself, right? Like, I mean, you're not happy with your decisions. You haven't made peace with yourself. And I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that, Matthew? Like, I feel like that's important for people to understand is that you have to have peace with yourself.
Absolutely. I think that's definitely something that people have to get more used to is that like they don't find any kind of peace within themselves in terms of like they're not comfortable with like them being themselves in front of other people. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like I feel like in many different ways, people have to adapt to different personalities because they're talking to someone and they notice they like something small or not small, but just like something significant within their lives um, that could definitely change the course of that person's interest. And it can be in many different avenues: political, education, entertainment, choice and persona of career. Um, there is some things that we shift for the people that we are interested in and are attracted to. whether that may be in many different avenues. And I feel like in many different ways, that kind of shifts the people that we are. We're willing to put in the effort for certain people that we are interested in or love. And I think that's just like something very important for ourselves. And it can be a positive and a negative. It just really depends on what kind of situation we're talking about or scenario. Um, I just feel like in nowadays, like people are just so uncomfortable with like actually like not. I don't mean this in a negative way, but like actually suffering. You know what I mean? And actually enduring themselves as a person. Um, there's been so many scenarios where I've literally been so alone in my own thoughts, and I don't see that as a negative thing because I know like I got my own back. And in many different scenarios, like if all worse were to happen and I'm left on my own, I at least I got me to hold on to, and
Mhm.
and whatever relationship I have in terms
And
of my.
I think that that's a beautiful thing to be able to vocalize because it's something that a lot of people aren't able to realize until much later in life. So the fact that you wait, am I older than you? Yeah, no, I'm definitely older than you. There's no shot that you're older than me. No shot.
What year?
Oh, two,
What month?
September.
Damn, I'm older than you.
You are? Really?
Yeah, February, brother.
Well, you were born February '02.
Yeah.
Damn, what the hell were you doing in our grade? You got held back or something? Golly, dude, Buddy Boy was retarded.
No, I know, dude. I joined late, man. I
How the hell did you? How the hell
huh?
were you in our grade?
Honestly, like that's a good question because I remember being told three different things by my mom. I remember being told I was held back late because I was transferring schools, um, and just not like being last minute for like our grade period and stuff like that. And then it had something to do with like just transferring over and like them losing my documents in some sort of way, which like kind of sounds.
Surprisingly, it sounds to me, and maybe this is just from an actual perspective of an outsider. Sounds to me like you were an idiot and you just got held back, bro.
I never got
There's
held
like,
back. If that's what you're assuming
there's
going
that
forward.
there's that skit of the guy who was like doing the retard test. Have you seen that skit where it's like it's like follow my fingers and he's like following the fingers and he like splits them up and the guy looks both ways. He's like, oh, you're retarded.
Oh man, oh brother. No,
Okay,
no, it is not that
but
case or scenario. I wish it was more
okay,
interesting like that.
but
Where
you
I'm
being
secretly Rain Man.
24,
Huh?
you're secretly green.
Yeah, I'm secretly Rain Man.
3,202 toothpicks in this thing. Must gamble. Everything on 17 black. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, okay, this does bring to the question now. If you were like say you were a gambling man, right? I know Matthew, you being a man of the military. Say you were, right?
Uh,
What if you are at a roulette? What number and color are you putting it all on?
Black 3.
Black three. Why specifically black three?
I'm putting it on black because I feel like way too many people pick red and that never goes that way. And
I
why
feel like
3?
everyone picks
Because
black.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be just a vice versa switcheroo kind of scenario.
But
But
okay, why three?
why 3? Because fuck it, dude. Like it's never gonna be 0. It's never gonna be 1. It's never gonna be 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, man. Like
You said
it could
six, seven?
it
You
could
said
yeah,
six,
it could
seven?
be one of those scenarios. But I think 3 is like probably the best number when it comes to finales. So I'm gonna pick 3.
I only said Black 17 because there's that video. I don't know. You being in the military, you might not have seen it, but the one where the guy's like 17 Black. Oh, shit, Kingu, you crazy, man. Let it ride. And he just keeps going, like, let it ride. Still, I think someone did the math. I think he got to like $4 trillion by the last one that he said let it ride, which means that it probably still went on for a little bit longer, and he just kept hitting on 17 Black over and over and over again until eventually the video cuts to them like in the car, and they're like clearly fucking broke now, and so he's like, the house always wins, Roy. The house always has the edge. Fuck Vegas, and he's like getting upset. Meanwhile,
Oh,
the other guy's
dude.
just like driving straight face, and he's like super fucking pissed. He's like obviously trying not to kill him because they just had
Uh-huh.
like they hadn't enough money to collapse the world economy, and now they have nothing because he just kept saying let it ride for the love of the game. But
Dude.
anyway, sorry, we are getting completely off topic. I just want to point that out. We were originally talking about online dating. I can't even
Um,
remember where we stopped at. Oh yeah, you realizing being able to grow and be alone with yourself. That's a beautiful thing to understand at 24 years old. Um, I'm 23 for like another month. Oh, God, you are old. But that's a beautiful thing to be able to realize because there's so many things in the world that I feel like I've realized that a lot of people my age won't realize for a while. And that's, I haven't realized that myself. I struggle with it myself. So the fact that you have the growth and understanding of yourself and your mind and your body and your spirit to be able to be fine with being alone, whether in thought or in body or spirit or whatever. That's something that I feel like not a lot of people have, and I commend you for that, Matthew. Good job,
I appreciate it.
buddy. Just like doing it like he's one of the brothers, bro. I thought you were about to like hold up a fist for the love of the game, man.
Yeah, yeah. Hold up a black
You
sign
would
right
be.
now.
Say
Yeah, I'm gonna
you
change
would
my
be the one.
Instagram profile to black now.
I was gonna say put
Blackout
black
Tuesday.
squares.
Yeah,
Black squares. Bro, I
yeah.
remember. Do you remember that? Do you remember
I
people doing that shit?
dude, I
Bro, I
remember
remember that's the
seeing.
whitest bitches ever, bro, doing that shit. Be like, oh, we stand united. And it's like, what the fuck do you know, bro?
So so I was seeing a black girl that did that, and I don't know why in my kind of mind frame, like I thought, like in some kind of chameleon mindset, I was like, I'm trying to fucking get in whatever action I'm trying to get, so I gotta seem like I'm interested in this shit. So I did the same thing. I changed my profile picture to a
I,
black
remember,
screen.
I think I remember I messaged you about that. I said, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. Hey, bro. Like I was really in. I was very young. I was very active. I was very into, social justice, man. And that's just the kind of thought process I had between that.
And I do think that it is a worthy cause. Social justice is something that is worth fighting for, but there are better ways I feel like to do it than just putting a black square. Like I feel like being out, like every time I see a protest, my heart fills with pride of people of color being able to unite for an actual common goal because I feel like that's something that you don't see a lot of unification in the world anymore. Like, I mean, obviously you see it a
Right.
lot now recently with the World Cup, right? Because everyone was under a nation and they were representing something, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
if you were like me and you're, half Guatemalan, you're just like praying on everyone else's downfall in the funniest ways possible, right? But neither
Yeah.
here nor there.
It, it was
Um,
definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I feel like it was very nice to see people like just like actually appreciate for what their pride was and where they came from. Like Mexico, like making it as far as they could. Obviously, like we knew they weren't gonna make it like fucking down to the final four. But it was so impressive seeing the people like actually be so prideful for their nation in such small avenues. Um, I don't know. It was nice seeing like everyone just like collectively be like, fuck yeah, let's do this. Like, I don't know, let's believe in the team that we never thought was gonna make it. Kind of like Indiana Pacers. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I had no fucking idea they would make it that far that year. I mean, I always knew the New York Knicks were gonna like do something. I just never thought they would win the finals.
especially not against the Spurs. Also, Mexico got to like the same point that they always get to, and they got eliminated at the exact same point. So to me, it's just a normal World Cup for them. Right? I
Yeah,
always, and literally always. I think it's like a running gag. I think it's like was it the last 6 World Cups that they've been eliminated in the round of 16? I think it's like some like ridiculous stat like that.
I don't think they made it as far last time in the 16. Maybe they did. I'm not too sure, but like it was just
Oh, you're
nice
right.
seeing.
They got eliminated. Yeah, they got eliminated in the group stage. But like, I
Yeah,
think it's like because what 2014 they lost to Netherlands. 2018 I think they lost to Sweden. No, they might have even
yeah,
been the same group, but they lost to someone in the round. I think it might have been Brazil or someone like that.
yeah.
2026 they obviously lost to England. 2010 I don't remember what happened with them. I know they topped their group, and then I think they lost to Argentina.
Oh fuck yeah, they probably got their ass whooped there. But I mean, either
No,
way,
I think
like I
I
feel
think
like
there's only one.
this World Cup was kind of like not to be like dismissive towards it, but it was kind of forgettable because like it didn't seem like, especially in terms of the teams that we were mostly like backing for. Like whenever Mexico lost, we are going towards Polish or any kind of other teams that were basically going up against England or Spain and
Yeah,
Argentina.
Norway. Yeah,
Yeah,
Norway. That was the most, that was the one. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like Poland. Man. Make
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
make it.
yeah. My bad. Not Poland. I don't know why I got Poland and Norway mixed up. But yeah,
Exciting whites, man.
yeah, man. I'm mixing up my white nations, but like still, yeah. I feel like just seeing like the nations follow under one another just because they were like, man, fuck them, they beat my team, so I'm gonna go with this squad. That's how I felt with like every year with the finals. Nowadays it's like, all right, what other Texas team can I root for? All right, the Mavericks, they got their ass whooped. All right, the Spurs, they got their ass whooped. All right, the Rockets, all right, they got fucking brutally whooped by the Lakers. Yeah.
They are dog, bro. That it must be rough to be a Rockets fan. Imagine being a Rockets fan, and not only do you have the KDF files, you have Steph owning the shit out of you, and then you have 41-year-old Braun being the best player on the court and leading a basically a team of fucking injured reserve players to beating your team in what 6 games? Like, bruh, your life must
Luke
suck. Like
Kennard.
as a Hawks fan, my life sucks, but yours is worse.
I mean, I wouldn't say all that, but yeah, sure. But into terms of relationships of teams, I guess I want this to enter to our next segue of questions between modern dating, and I really want to say like in terms of like traditions and like what we follow under for what has traditional dating become like obsolete where like just walking up to somebody and like just having a fucking conversation and asking them to go for a cup of coffee or whatever the fuck people used to say back in the day. Is that obsolete? Is that no longer a thing? Is like just like the standards of people being loyal to that old kind of way of just like entrance accepted anymore, or are people just expecting the red roses petals and everything immediately at first?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I think that because of the fact that places like bars and clubs and places like that exist, I just can't say in good faith that they would ever um, they would ever become obsolete. I think that people do have the right mind of having a set standard, and I know I have a personal set standard because I saw my parents' loving relationship, and I saw them grow together and love each other on a daily basis. So it's like I know what I need from my relationship. I need the love that I saw reciprocated, the love that I can give reciprocated, right? And I think people need to have to find a balance between, being a modern, like, oh, I want this, versus I have this and I can provide this. And I don't think traditional dating will ever be obsolete because of public space. I think it's just going to be evolving into a more modern take. Kind of like, if we're relating this to sports, it'll be like the pistol offense or something like that. You know, how flexbone goes to wishbone, or no, wishbone goes to flexbone, which goes to pistol, which goes to shotgun, right? Like you have different. There's just it's going to be the same concept. You can have the same philosophies within it, right? I mean, I know Rice runs triple option out of the shotgun, so it's like you can still have the same thing. It's just how is it going to change over time, right? It's still going to have its basics. It's still going to have its fundamentals. And I think that's what people have to understand. But that was an excellent question. Good shit, Matthew. You know, I'm the one that's dropping the questions and letting you answer for 5-10 minutes and rant about how you love to see other men's dicks in the locker room. But
Um, yeah, sure. In certain segues, yeah. Um, no, but I
all
mean,
right,
like,
that. Oh, sorry,
no, you
sorry,
want?
continue.
No, you go
No,
ahead.
no,
You go ahead.
no. No, you got it, you got it. The floor
I
is
was
yours for
just
the next minute.
I was just gonna literally say, like, in traditional standards, like, I feel like obviously many different avenues are gonna change in terms of like how people approach others, people of interest. But I feel like, in no matter what, if you just come up to somebody with like some sort of line of interest and like you just express that towards them, they're going to, one way or another. It might not be the person you want or you need, but they will reciprocate that feeling. You just got to give in more effort towards it.
Amen, brother. Amen. All right, me and Matthew are going to take a little bit of a quick break. God, I wish I had a fucking sponsor for this segment, but we will see you guys on the other side in just a minute. All right, we are back, guys, with our final segment. And actually, we were talking about it. Matthew said that he has the segment on live. So, Matthew, my boy, what are we talking about with the segment?
All right, Nick. It's been some time since we last done this podcast, and I know it's been at least some significant years in between. So I just want to ask, like, since we last done this podcast, what is the biggest changes that you felt like you've done between this, and what is something you feel like you would ask yourself?
Like, as in, like, what would my past self ask me, or was in what would I ask my past self?
Yeah, what would you ask your past self?
I mean, I can answer the question of what have I grown? I've grown to have the capability of understanding what love is and what it means, right? Because whenever I last did this episode, I had a very rocky relationship with myself, with a lot of other people, with my own family members, and it was something that I can look back on in shame because it's like, how did I exist in this, right? Like, I always portray myself as a being of hate, whether it's on camera or off camera, right? Like where I have a lot of disdain for the world and actions that people take and things that people say. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm more of a being of love. And at that time, I wasn't able to project that. I was only able to project the negatives. So being able to, I mean, honestly, it might be a trip to just like look back and listen to ourselves from 5, 10 years, or not 5, 10 years ago, from 5 years ago. Because I mean, when we started this podcast, we were in the bubble, bro. Like we just did this because we were fucking bored, and it just turned into this whole thing where we enjoyed each other's talking with each other and shooting the shit with guests, and you know, it, it's grown into something that's actually meaningful to me. And I know I've always said that I only want to do like 25 episodes of this. I mean, if it just hits it big, then it hits it big, and like I'm fucking not stopping at that point. I got to make my bag, bro. But like, I know that this is something that every episode once it passed 10, the Christmas episode, every episode meant something special to me. Every episode was something that like I truly valued, and being able to look back at myself from 5 years ago and not valuing something that is so utterly important as time. Because I remember one of
One of the biggest lessons I've ever got.
was from Miss Ash, and it was that the biggest resource of all isn't money, it isn't power, it isn't armies or natural resources or anything like that. It's time because it's the only thing you can never get back. Right? You can always grow another tree. You can always earn another dollar. You can always do this. You can always do that. You can never get your time back. So being able to grow and understanding that time is important and appreciating and loving everything and everyone, including myself, matters a lot. And I think being able to look back at myself, I would ask that question is, do you love yourself? Do you love everyone around you? Do you love what you're doing? And it's like, folk being able to pinpoint a question about love would be where I would go with that. At least me personally. I can't speak for you. What about you, Matt?
Um, now more than ever, yeah, I do. And I think it's because like I accept myself for like what flaws I have. As to previously, I always like felt like I had to fix whatever I had to do. Like kind of like in the discussion of like, whenever women feel like, or men, sorry, not to discriminate certain people, but like certain people feel like, oh, I gotta fix him or fix her. I felt like that way about myself too, where I felt like I had to fix something in order to be like my most like appreciated version of myself. But like I feel like, man, fuck it. Like I'm appreciated right now for who I am, to myself. And it's just like, I don't know. I've even though like I've only walked a quarter of a century, almost a quarter of a century coming up to this point. I feel like I've lived a decent enough life where I could just be accepted for what I've done. And I don't feel like many people can say that about themselves. And just looking back to where we were at last time we did this podcast, I feel like I'm approve of what I've done these past 5 years. It's not the best and it's not the worst. But at the same time, I'm like at least satisfied that like I feel like I've made a significant difference to be accepted for what I'm doing, and like I'm still growing. I mean, I'm not, you know, saying I don't have enough time left to be able to make certain decisions in my life, but like I feel like I can definitely like just be proud of where I'm at as a human being. Um, And like there's like this comparison tool that we have where we look at Instagram or Snapchat or whatever and we see how other people are doing in their lives and we feel like fuck man, what am I doing? But at the same time like dude, I mean we're making a significant jump from where we're at and I'm pretty proud about that.
It is kind of wild. I mean, looking back on like some of the things you see from people in high school, like bro, it's like I swear to God, it feels like everyone's getting married and people are like getting pregnant left, right, and center. It's like, bro, how do you have the money, time, and the finances for this shit? I get
Yeah.
home from work at like 12 o'clock at night. I'm not thinking about, oh man, let me pipe this girl, bro. Like, how do you have energy with this shit, bro? Like, and you're like raising a kid now. Like, how do you have the energy for this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it is, and I do think you did touch on it. I think what people need to understand that I say people need to understand a challenge for anyone who's listening to this. Take a shot every time I say people need to understand. Yeah, Matthew's already giving me the spirit of it, but but whenever you see posts on social media, that is an idealized version of that person. That doesn't tell the full story, and I think people need to sit that back and like really understand that that is the perfected version of the person. That is what they actually are. Everyone is flawed, and lives are so variant every single day. Like no two lives are going to be the same. No two people are going to be the same. You can have similarities, but you're going to live your own shit. They're going to do their own shit. You know.
Yeah. No, I mean I definitely agree with that. And like everyone has their own trajectory of where they're gonna go. And that's no fault of anybody. I mean, I feel like no matter what your path and direction goes, like you have to accept on who you are as a person. And if you keep seeing it as like a fault of like fuck man, like I can only have this person if I was like this. I can only, do get this job if I was like that. If you keep seeing things like that, in that kind of perceptive avenue, like you're never going to be satisfied with the person you are. And like, not to get too much of a deep spiral of like just fucking love yourself, but like it's just like, dude, like we are only on this earth for a limited amount of time, and like if you just keep seeing yourself as like a fucking piece of meat that has to constantly fucking morph into somebody else's like approval, then what the hell are you doing? You know? And like there's only so much that you and I could do to offer advice to certain people or to just like speak our own minds to certain people that they're actually going to would take certain shit like that. So it's just like honestly, like I think the best thing that we've done so far was to like completely go to a different direction than what we were expecting to. Like I'm pretty sure like whenever we last did this podcast, we were expecting ourselves to be like, you know, at a different point of our lives. But like no, we're taking our time. We're like not allowing ourselves to fucking be rushed into certain places, and we're allowing ourselves to like actually figure out who we are as people rather than just being like, nah, fuck this, I need to like, you know, make some serious like Jeff Bezos bread. Not saying we aren't, but like, you know, we're expecting ourselves to be in a criteria that we're just not ready for yet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Just looking back 5 years ago, I don't think you were expecting to be in the Marines. I know I definitely wasn't expecting to be working two jobs and having my own house, right? I mean, or renting. I just want to make this abundantly clear. I do not own the fucking property. I'm not that burdened, bro. Like, working two jobs is nice. It's food industry, bro. Like it's not gonna make you like big bucks, bro. But like, it's not something that like I ever really expected until I actually signed the papers and filled out all the forms and took all the photos of the house before to make sure that they didn't fuck me over with walls being broken or something like that. Like it's not something that I was like really thinking about, right? I mean, I was thinking they're using Spider-Man a little bit here. I was thinking little potato stuff. I wasn't thinking big potato stuff, right? I don't know. Did you ever end up watching Spider-Man or the new one?
Fuck yeah, I did. Yeah, no, I love that movie. But like,
No spoilers. No spoilers for the audience. But yeah, it's so peak. If you guys haven't watched it, go fucking watch it. It's so
no,
good.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, like literally pause and just go watch it right now. But no, and like that's such a like. I feel like you're discrediting yourself a little bit too much, Nick, because I feel like a lot of people at our point, at our like where we're at as people and where we were at as high school graduates from 2021 of Klein Oak High School. Like I feel like not too many people even fucking have their own home or at least getting approved for it. Like I haven't got my first home yet, but I'm like in the process of like having that built right now because I'm more of a project thinker in my own perspective. But like you already have that accomplished for yourself. Not discrediting you for anything else, but like you already have that like accomplished. Like you got your own piece of land that you can literally sleep on, and other people are literally struggling to pick up rent. So I mean, like that's something to
Mhm.
give yourself credit for, and I think that's something more optimistic to look towards. I mean, I think everybody expected themselves in one point of avenue were to be like some kind of influencers where other people would look up to, and it's not that like we killed that dream, but it's just like we have so much reality to face that like it is significantly more difficult to get past that avenue. Like I remember, like you had this discussion before where like literally you were telling a bunch of friends of yours, like, let's get a house, let's do content creation, and let's make fucking money out of that. Right? Like you've had that discussion before with your friends. Do you feel like that was like some kind of like childish way of thinking, or like do you feel like you just had so much aspiration for yourself at that time?
I think it. Okay, one that was obviously kind of a joke because I did love the Sidemen a lot. It's kind of wild to see how they've like changed over the years, but I do think that. God damn it. I do think that um, it was founded in some facts. I definitely knew that being a content creator, like a YouTuber or a podcaster, was something that I was interested in. But it wasn't really anything that like I really was like, yo, like let me lock in and do this. It was just something that I just did off to the side, and I'd love it every time I do it. Every video I upload, even when I pay my editor. Shout out to my editor, by the way, he's fucking phenomenal. But um, every time I do one of these videos and every time I record on these sessions, I love it every time. But at the end of the day, the unfortunate reality is that this just isn't going to be something that I can devote the time while having two other jobs. Hell, I couldn't even devote the time when I had one job, right? And so being able to do this in this medium right now is like cathartic, even though it's fucking ass crack of dawn, literally 4:30 in the morning in Houston. I know it's like 2:30 over where you are. Like even
Yeah.
doing this, right after I just recorded another stream for a college football video game. Which, by the way, fuck Colton Joseph. If you ever listen to this, the Wisconsin quarterback, go fuck yourself, bro. I fucking hate your CPU. But he was playing like prime Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson, bro. God damn, bro. She was so furious. Anywho, but like doing these videos and like recording these streams and doing this podcast, I mean, it's something that I truly enjoy, and so I think that those claims back then were off of the basis of this is something that I enjoy and this is something that I want to be able to do. But the reality of it is the time and devotion and energy I would have had to do with it, and money as well, because I'm not a good editor. I mean, my editor when he does, all my videos, I have the vision, right? Like I have the exact vision down to a minute. Like you can ask him. It's probably the most specific out of any person that he edits videos, where it's not like like if even like 1 second is off on the video, like I'm having him redo that whole freaking video and we're getting the shit right. Like the reason why the 2026 film video took it so fucking long to come out is because we went through like 7 different edits of it. Because I'm like, I want to do this, this, and this, and he wasn't able to get it to pinpoint. So I'm like, all right, you got to get this fucking pinpoint. He's like, all right, okay, I got another video. Let me get this done. And it's like, all right, you got this done. I said I wanted this as well. So it's like chasing that perfection, chasing that idealism was something that I wanted to do, and I found a way to channel that into other things. And I've discovered that no matter what the job is, I love putting myself and my energy into my work and making sure that I know I can go home knowing I did a good job and that I helped others. Right? I mean, uh, those that content house, I can look back and say that that would be a retarded idea. I don't know how that would end up working. I don't even know who I would pick nowadays. I mean, I have an idea, a rough estimate, but like an actual like sitting down, we were making fucking content every day. Like, I can already see how it's going, bro. Like, I'm gonna be like pranking someone in the shower or like while they're taking a shit by like spraying them with like some water or some shit like that. It's like I just like trying to like instead of Sprite, giving them magnesium nitrate or something like that, just waiting for them to go to the toilet.
Dude,
Like,
I was thinking of
I see how this shit would go.
I was thinking of
Like, I don't even
like like gameplay or
know.
something.
Like,
Uh huh.
no, it
What were
would
you
just be
saying?
just making like, fuck over their lives. No, I'll just be straight fucking over their lives. And just saying, like, that's the only thing I can think of I could do for content outside of gaming, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Like I feel like I definitely get what you mean. But like to go back to like where our podcast was at, or where I'm sorry, where the last podcast that we did was at, was like I feel like it was such a significant point in my life because like I feel like I was just I didn't know how to exactly express myself so much to different types of people, and like you allowed that to happen to where like we just had so many numerous conversations, and I was just so proud of like the idea that like we you were able to accomplish that for us, and you allowed us to conversate with each other and different people and their aspects, and I was just so like in awe of that. And definitely like this podcast means so much to me because like I look back on it and I'm like, damn, like I'm kind of glad that I was able to at least have some kind of documented reference of where I was able to speak my mind, and you gave me that avenue, Nick, and I appreciate that very very much. So for that, I'm forever grateful. I mean, I understand like we shoot the shit so much, but like this means a lot more to me because I'm fucking able to speak my own thoughts, and whatever happens between you and I, we're like me and you aren't able to spread our own our own minds anymore. We have this avenue to at least have this documented conversation where we're able to, and I hope this continues on further and further. We're like, I don't give a fuck if this catches like 2 views or 1 million. I'm just glad that we're able to like continue this on further because persistency is more important than fucking engagement. And I feel like no matter what, if you just continue to put your mind towards something, some success will come out of it as long as you put effort between that. Not to quote Back to the Future, but yeah, like I feel like that means a lot, and not too many people see that. So I appreciate you, Nick, for at least allowing me to be on this podcast and for us to experience this, even though it's been like I think like 5 years since our last podcast.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a bit. I just want to point out, you guys can't see this, or I hope to God you can't see this. But after, like, right in the middle of him putting all that emotion into that speech, I, I want to message into our chat. I think you just now seeing it.
What? What?
Did you look at that? Read the chat. Read the
Re-
chat. I was in the middle of your fucking speech. I'm like, yeah, I'm hoping they can see my face where I'm like, oh no, like I feel so bad now because I just typed this shit into the group chat. But no, dude, I mean, I know when we started this out, it was just basketball only. Like it was just straight hoops. And so now to have it flow into something where we're able to talk about real life, I mean, that definitely means something to me too. And I'm glad to have you as a co-host. I know what you guys don't see is the hard work that goes behind it and all the conversations and stuff like that we've had. And I know we definitely not gotten along at certain points where I'm like, oh, like I feel like this is too much control on this end, this is too much this and then, and it's like
right.
taking a step back and like talking about growing, we're both able to understand like, no, this is exactly where it needed to be, right? Like I know a lot of people who have been on the podcast didn't enjoy the experience because it's not easy for them to shoot the shit and talk about everything in their life and everything on their mind. Whereas for us, it's just one for one. And you touched it as well. Okay, look, as a person who uploads it, I do fucking care that it gets 2 views versus a million. I'll know you up front, right? But from a personal perspective, like it doesn't make that much of a difference to me. You're right. Like for me, it's about putting out something that I'm happy and that I'm proud of, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's why the last one we recorded in 2021, it just got uploaded like last year. But like that was because I couldn't figure out how to edit it properly and put up something that I was proud of. And eventually I ended up getting it sorted after like 5 different corrupted takes. But it's like we got that sorted. And so it's like now being able to have the freeness of mind to be able to take episode 14 and a half, which is what this one is. I don't know if I said that in the intro. The intro was like 4 hours ago at this point. But
Um,
I mean, being able to take a podcast and grow it into something that truly means something. And I don't know how many people are going to be getting to the last bit of the sentence, but I thank you for being my co-host, Matthew. I know when I need to find the text that we have where it's like, "Yo, do you want to shoot a podcast?" Like it probably was something stupidly simple like that. Like, let's shoot a podcast, bro, and it just ended up taking off. But
mm,
thank you for being along with me on this ride, man. And I know our schedules haven't aligned, and this is for those of you guys who don't know, this has been in the works for like a month now. But none of our schedules just have not aligned at all. With me working 2 jobs and being in the process of moving now, and Matthew being in the military, it's like, bro, like we've been fighting for our fucking lives trying to like I'm calling this dude in the middle of a rush while I'm getting like ass fucked by food. and it's like I'm trying to figure out what time we're gonna shoot this shit. And he's like, "Oh, bro, no, I'm on a cruise, bro. Like, there's not much we can do with this. Like, we've been working on it, and the fact that it finally came to fruition, and it's something that I'm proud of. I think this or the problem with 10 is the fact that you can hear. Fuck, who can you hear? There's someone that we had behind the camera to make sure it didn't turn off, and you can hear him fucking breathing behind the mic. Darnell, oh my god, you can hear Darnell behind the fucking mic. That's the only like negative downside of 10. But 10 is still my favorite because it was the Christmas episode and just ended up to us just shooting shit. One of these days we got to do like a reunion for that episode.
Oh
That
yeah,
might
yeah,
be
for sure.
sure, but yeah, no, I mean that was probably my favorite because that was the one that it transitioned from basketball to something more. But since then, every episode I'm proud of, I'm happy with. You know, I enjoy my time with this. You know, and I hope people enjoy this as much as you and I have. Like, this is something that truly means a lot to me, and I know you just said it meant a lot to you. So
Yeah, no, it definitely does, and I feel like, bro, I remember that Christmas special like back like it was yesterday, and just like having that like formed up out of nowhere, like collectively, like just having everybody together, in that scenario felt so special, and not saying like like that being the one that like just made a significant difference to me because I felt like every single one did, but it just felt like it just felt like so nice in between of that time to be able to like share our minds between each other, and I just appreciated it. But yeah, yeah, no, I remember Darnell like just being so fucking loud. um
it's like
yeah.
that. You remember that video with Kendrick Perkins breathing into fucking JJ Redick's and Stephen A. Smith's ears? That's what it was like. Like when you go back and listen to it, like we're quiet as shit, and you just hear. Like, bro, like, are you dying over there? Like, I remember I saw him like a year or so ago. I don't remember if he was at McDonald's or something like that, but I was like buying something after practice or something like that. And I just remember I was like, "Yo, Donnell, what's up, bro?" He's like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" And it's like I was like, "Yeah, I remember you fucked up my podcast that one episode." He's like, "Oh, my bad, man. I was going through some shit right there." I'm like, "The fuck does that mean? What are you talking about?"
Oh, fucking Darnell, man, I miss that guy.
I love that. If you're watching this right now, we love and we miss you, man. I don't know what you're up to because I don't follow him on IG. I don't know. Do you? You follow him on IG or no? Do
Yeah,
you
I
have
do.
one?
I do. I actually keep up with him every now and then. Not to throw any shade, but yes, I do.
Shit,
You know
man.
what?
Now I feel like a piece of shit, bro. I haven't seen shit about him, bro. I just saw him in his fucking natural habitat at McDonald's. That makes him sound that's fucking fat phobic right there. Goddamn, bro.
No, no, you're good, man. You're good. Fuck, dude. One person that I feel like I haven't kept in contact with since our last podcast is probably fucking remember Gustavo? Yeah, I haven't kept up with him.
Yeah. Yeah, Gustavo, we need to do something with us. But I remember I talked about a while ago doing a political episode. I don't know how that would go now because there's so much that's changed. Good fucking God.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Oh, fuck,
and then
man.
you can't really say your opinions. You just have to be like, yeah, no, yeah, because you're in the fucking military, so you can't show biasness.
Yeah, yeah, but either way, I think like a discussion with him would be very, very interesting, and just like having Cam Kamirski there because he's married to Daniel
Yeah, he's
there.
married. Yeah, he's married now. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be so interesting. Having Butts there, that would be very interesting. Um, I don't know if he kept up with Kinley at all. That'd be pretty interesting too. I don't know, just anybody to have a conversation with. That'd be super interesting to just like fucking I don't know, just bring up in any topic.
Yeah, no, I mean it'd be definitely fun to shoot. I mean, the difficulty with the schedule because I mean, like we've been saying all podcasts, we're adults now, right? We're not kids anymore, right? we have our own houses that we can shoot this shit in. Like we don't have to steal Miss Ash's room for 4 hours of the day to shoot this shit, right? Like we don't have to fight for our fucking lives to get this shit done, right? I mean, I can literally buy a sound speaker to have 4 microphones plugged in at the same time and all fully operational. Right? Like I can do whatever I have the money to do it. Right? I have a job. Right?
Yeah,
So
no,
it's
for
like
sure.
it's like we're not fighting like peasants anymore, right? We're doing what we need to do to be successful.
Yeah. No, I for sure. Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, like, shit. It's definitely been a fucking wild ride between what difference we've made and in terms of like just like having this kind of conversation between each other. For sure, I really hope that we just continue this on further and further and find
I
ourselves
mean,
in
we got episode 15, and we have a celebrity. We have celebrity. Do we want to talk to them about who we have online? Yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
fucking
We'll talk to them
cinema,
about.
man.
I hate myself on this one. So, right, here is the dealio. We have a bunch of people that we were looking at to get as guests, right? And there's a fair few ones. I mean, I feel like we can reveal these for people who we want to talk to for 15. The two at the top of my list, and I don't know about Matthew's list, but the two at the top of my list are the CEO of Sex himself, Jacob Batalon, right? Because that would just be funny as shit to just have a podcast episode with the CEO of Sex himself. And then the one
To do as well before she gets like ridiculously big is Indy Navarrete, right? Because I think she's going to win the Oscar, and I think it would really be cool to have an Oscar winner on this. I know Matthew's. Who did you suggest, Matthew? Do you remember?
On winning the Oscar.
No, not that shit. What the fuck are you talking? No, I'm talking about for the guest, bro.
Oh, dude. Hold up. I got a
Hold on,
few.
I had it pulled up. I have it pulled up. Moist Critical and then John Currico. How do you say his name?
Kiriakou.
Kiriakou, Shane Gillis, Theo Vaughn. I
Um,
know I also had Nathan Fillion. That would be a pretty good one.
yeah. Michael
Moist
Porter
Critical,
Jr.
yeah, God, yeah, Michael Porter Jr. would be insane on a podcast. Golly, hey, you think we say insane shit? Oh my God, guys, just listen to Michael Porter Jr. talk on a podcast. God damn.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, fuck, man. He would be an insane fucking conversation to have.
Yeah, there's a lot. Just trust me, guys. We're gonna get someone that is recognizable for you guys, that you guys can enjoy and appreciate and understand. Like this is, I know. I think this is probably our best episode overall, just because it's between us two and we're carrying the fuck out of this shit. 10 is the best one with guests, but like this is probably about to be the best one because this is we're fully grown and matured. We've aged as co-hosts perfectly. Like we're in sync, right? And then we're gonna have our guests, which hopefully bring them views. I mean, I'll be
Yeah.
kind of disappointed if I pay X amount of money and this gets like 8 views, but like it will live.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happens. All I know is that like this thing becomes like a personal documentary, and it's just important to myself and you um, to show how significant it is between the journey of our lives. Because we started this as like really fucking young as teenagers.
Now we're grown as men, bro. You're old. You're literally old.
Fuck, dude. I mean, not 24 being old. Come on, dog. I still got a
You're older
full
than
head of
me.
hair.
You're older than me. You're on.
Mm-mm. By 7 months, dog. That's not that crazy.
Your parents were pregnant 7 months before mine were. You're old, bro.
God damn it. All right. What? Okay,
Any
so
closing thoughts on it? I was gonna say, any closing thoughts on your end? What were you about to say?
No, close. No, no, because I did want to bring up a closing thought. Honestly, honestly, if you could redo any kind of significant point of this podcast to yourself, what would it be?
What do you mean?
Just like what would you change about this?
I would have a better system on microphones. Definitely. I mean, that's like such a stupid ass answer. That's not as deep as I was probably hoping. But having a better system set up for microphones and having people be able to have a voice more so and investing. We'll change that to investing. Investing in the podcast earlier would have definitely, oh crap, would have definitely made it a lot better. And I think it's important for people to understand that doing something like this is an investment of money, resources, and time, right? And so having the mindset that I do now, I would definitely have paid the $100 or whatever it is to end up doing it. But that's an excellent question, Matthew. I think that's a good question to end it on, honestly. Um, it's been an honor to do with you, buddy. And I wouldn't have chosen any other co-host. I can tell you that. I mean, you are the perfect co-host to be with me. So, if you would say goodbye to the fans, the beautiful and lovely fans.
Yeah. Goodbye, guys. I appreciate where this has come from. I'm right now like kind of looking at back on like how things were with this fucking podcast and seeing where it first started. But I'm just very appreciative of where this gone, and I'm more appreciative of what I've experienced with you, Nick, and the people.
As you guys can see, it is a brighter day and is a newer night, or is no longer night. Um, yeah, a little bit about the ending. If you see, I don't know if you're going to be able to see my hands, but my hands are up at that moment. Um, it is like showing like 10 seconds, like 10 seconds, 10 seconds over and over. That's all I'm trying to signal to Matthew. Unfortunately, either Matthew's an idiot or he got too lost in the sauce, probably a little bit of both. And he didn't see that. So if you're wondering why the episode cut up quickly, that is why. But to wrap things up in a bow, thank you guys so much for listening. It was very great to get back into the flow of things. Um, I really appreciate anyone who listens to this, even if it's only like one viewer. It's one viewer more than I feel like I deserve, and it really just validates my hard work and Matthew's hard work and both of our emotional output into this. So I really appreciate that, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.